Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention, please? We are about to begin our program this afternoon. Thank you. And before we begin this session, ladies and gentlemen, allow us to inform you some of the rules. For offline participants, please follow the COVID-19 protocols. And for online participants, make sure that you have a steady and stable connection. And kindly turn your camera on. And please make sure to turn the microphone off. And lastly, for the online participants, please kindly use our naming format of institution_name of the participant. Thank you.
Bermula dari goresan tangan dalam suatu perjalanan tugas negara pada suatu masa. Hikmat ilahi dan buah perenungan panjang, impian besar yang mengubah paradigma. Dari asa berikhtiar menjadi karya nyata. Konfigurasi ekonomi keuangan digital Indonesia yang terintegrasi sanggupkah terwujud di 2025? Teringat dahulu di masa kanak-kanakku, namun tekad tetap menggebu, membuatku terus melaju. Dari pinggiran desa, barangkali semua bermula. Rasa ingin menjangkau dunia, bagai layangan menjangkau angkasa. Kemudahan transaksi menjadi kuncinya. Sebagai katalis tercapainya kemajuan bangsa. Cepat, mudah, murah, aman, dan handal. Ku yakin ini bukanlah hayalan. Berawal dari suatu impian besar, kini tiba saatnya untuk menyelaraskan langkah dalam mengarungi perkembangan ekonomi keuangan digital. Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran hadir untuk menepis batasan dan membuka ruang kolaborasi bagi para penyedia jasa pembayaran. Terbang dan berpendarlah Snap. Bawalah mimpi anak bangsa mengangkasa, menepis gulita, menyatukan beragam benang dan jaring menjadi satu asa bermakna. Aktivitas ekonomi dan transaksi pembayaran yang cepat dan aman tidak mungkin terwujud tanpa adanya dukungan teknologi terkini yang mendukung interkoneksi Open API pembayaran. Kemajuan teknologi informasi dan komunikasi mendorong transformasi digital sistem pembayaran oleh perbankan maupun Fintech. Perkembangan tersebut di satu sisi mendorong hadirnya ragam spesifikasi Open API pembayaran, namun di sisi lain membawa tantangan tersendiri, sehingga diperlukan standar teknis dan tata kelola yang memadai untuk menciptakan interkoneksi industri sistem pembayaran nasional. Bank Indonesia mendorong inovasi dan transformasi digital melalui Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran sebagai pengejawantahan Visi 2 dan Visi 3 Blueprint Sistem Pembayaran atau PSPI 2025. Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran, SNAP, hadir untuk menciptakan industri sistem pembayaran yang efisien dan inovatif untuk mendorong integrasi, interkoneksi, interoperabilitas, serta keamanan dan keandalan infrastruktur sistem pembayaran. Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran mencakup standar teknis dan keamanan, standar data dan spesifikasi teknis, serta pedoman tata kelola. Tahun 2020 menjadi momentum awal pengembangan perumusan standar melalui penerbitan konsultatif paper Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran. Bank Indonesia bersama Asosiasi Sistem Pembayaran Indonesia membentuk Working Group Nasional dari perwakilan industri. Tahun 2021 menjadi fase penting inisiatif Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran dengan dimulainya fase pengembangan serta piloting sebagai persiapan menuju implementasi penuh pada tahun 2022. Untuk mendukung implementasi, BI merilis developer site yang akan menyediakan aplikasi pengujian untuk Open API Pembayaran. Standar Nasional Open API Pembayaran yang berlandaskan semangat sinergi inovasi bagi negeri akan mendorong interkoneksi, efisiensi, dan keamanan yang tinggi dalam implementasi Open API Pembayaran. Dengan adanya fondasi hukum yang kokoh, kolaborasi dan sinergi antar regulator, asosiasi, dan industri, maka implementasi SNAP akan mengakselerasi terwujudnya perluasan ekonomi digital demi pemulihan ekonomi negeri. Terbang dan berpendarlah standar nasional Open API pembayaran. Jalinlah beragam benang dan jaring menjadi satu asa bermakna. Menyatukan Nusantara bahkan hingga lintas batas negara. Berakar dari tradisi kebersahajan. Jangkaulah seluruh mimpi anak negeri dengan penuh harapan dan keyakinan.
Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us. Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? Great. Have you had your lunch? Already? Okay, good. That's the most important, yes. So we can start this session, ladies and gentlemen, with full of energy and power to have a fruitful discussion and also, of course, interesting material from the speakers of today's session of the breakout session. Okay, I'd like to invite all the participants who are still standing, please be seated. Okay. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the breakout session hosted by Bank Indonesia. And in this session, we'd like to greet and also welcome our distinguished speakers. Thank you for already joining us here, moderators. And we have Ibu Fili here. Thank you, Ibu, for joining this session also. Yes, tomorrow will be the speaker also. And also all the participants offline and online of the breakout session. For this breakout session, ladies and gentlemen, the topic is leveraging SNAP for better innovation and growth opportunity. Yeah, we had already the video just now we watched together and we will discuss more about that. But before we commence this breakout session, yes, now I'd like to invite you, please rise for the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Thank you. Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we know, on August 17, 2021, Bank Indonesia has launched the National Standard for Payment Open API or SNAP. And the implementation of open banking is carried out through the Open API standardization, which includes data, technical, and also security standards. And to share and get more details about this national standard, ladies and gentlemen, we will hear the presentation from the speakers, and for the session will be led by our moderator, Mr. Yogi Harsudiono, as the head of regulatory affairs at GoPay. Okay, so please give you warm welcome to our moderator, Mr. Yogi. Silakan Bapak.
Om Swastiastu, Assalamualaikum, Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Currently, there are more and more digital channels and applications in the Indonesian financial sector, and we are faced with the need for digital payment service to facilitate public financial activities. Open banking is a strategic solution to drive digital transformations in a more direct manner. With open banking, banks and fintech players will be better able to take the advantages of opportunities for collaborations and digital innovations in providing consumer-centric services. As the regulator, Bank Indonesia has launched an open banking initiative aimed at encouraging digital transformations in the national financial economy. The implementations of open banking is carried out through the open API standardizations, which includes data, technical and security standards, as well as the governance standards. As we know, on August 17, 2021, Bank Indonesia has launched the National Standard for Payment Open API, or as we know as SNAP. With the existence of SNAP, we hope that interlinkage and collaborations between banks and fintech players will be able to run more quickly and efficiently. This will overcome various fragmentations that currently exist in the market, as well as encouraging the integrations of the national digital economy and finance. Of course, all of this will need to be tested in the actual field of services. Therefore, in these sessions, we will discuss further how the industry players, the leaders in the market, respond to the implementations of SNAP. How the industry can leverage SNAP for better innovations and growth opportunities. In today's breakout sessions, we will have 3 very distinguished speakers, and each one of them will give a 10 minutes presentations, and then we will be follow up with the Q&A sessions. Our first speaker is Mr. Dudi Dermawan, Head of Large Value and Retail Payment Licensing Group, Bank Indonesia. And our second speaker is Mr. Argo Nugroho, Director of Digital and Information Technology at Bank Rakyat Indonesia. And our last and third speaker is Mr. Vincent Iswara, Chief Executive Officer of Dana Indonesia. Now that we have all the speakers with us, let's begin the session with a presentation from the first speaker for Bank Indonesia, Mr. Dudi Dermawan. Bapak, you will have an approximately 10 minutes for your presentations, and the floor is yours, Pak.
Wabarakatuh. Sini ada Bu Pili, izin ya Bu ya. Thank you very much for the invitation to this session. The first, maybe I would like to share the first why we developed the SNAP. Last month, I'm already attend the course in the Columbia University, and one of the most issues about how the global change. The global change right now if you want to survive in the global economic change, you must be develop everything using the platform. It means the sharing economy is a must. If you can survive in this change, so you can share everything, even your knowledge, your technology, your economics knowledge, everything that you must be shared in the platform. That's the key for the survival in the climate global economic change. So in this change, I would like to update about our Indonesian Blueprint 2025. In the next step, last year, we have already implement, we call it the pass payment. The pass payment is the game changers from our payment system, because the pass payment is more cheaper than before. What the essential of this pass payment? The pass payment is possibility. Everything for the bank or the fintech can be interlinked among others. So the second ones we have like QRs, like Bufili already launched last year. Then the QRs already global cross border. It means if you are go to the Thailand, this already implemented in the Thailand, and from the Thailand come here can using the QRs for the transactions. And the third one is very important. It's about the how we our wholesale payment system. Our wholesale payment system will be changed from the only rupiah transaction will be the multi-currency. Multi-currency is mean we can using the US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, Thailand baht, Singapore dollar, or any kind of the transaction using the multi-currency. It will support all the transaction using the cross-border settlement more efficient, more effective, or more cheaper. We have already met in the IMF meeting. The problem is in the cross-border settlement is the price is very high. The transparency is very low. So in the next our purpose of the development of the RTGS multi-currency, we will increase about the transparency, the cost will reduce more the cost, and then everything is going down. And then how about the transaction itself? We have the trade repository. It's mean when you do the transaction in the stock market, the bond market, forex exchange, something like that. This is integrated for Bank Indonesia. It means we can monitor all the transactions here, and then we can report it about the volatility to our bot, something like that. The important thing about the SNAP, we can building like payment ID. It means the payment ID, you can use the payment ID for the transactions. You can be using the payment ID for the increase of the inclusive. You can supporting of the economic development. You can increase of the stability. SNAP must be standard. This means everybody can be interlinked between the bank, between the fintech. It will align with our blueprint payment system 2025, especially in the into 1 and 2 our vision. The SNAP itself, we must be have everything must be used, not only the bank but also using by the fintech like fintech Vincent here. And next, maybe we can illustrate about what is SNAP. For example, if you visit for example, Alphamart or to 7-Eleven using the CRIS. The first, before using the CRIS, you must be registered, even in the Dana or the BRI account. This is the number one. The second one, when you are using the transaction using the CRIS, it will checking the balance in your accounts. So the SNAP is possible, Dana and BRI, to check your account using this to settle this transaction. The third one, when you are the transaction, maybe Pak Vincent or Pak Agra need the historical of the transaction. So it is possible to know about the all historical using the Snap. The fourth one, the Alpha or the 7-Eleven will debit or credit. It means when your fund is available, everything will settle, even using the Dana or the debit card or BRI. And the second one, the fund will replace from the Dana to BRI or to BRI to the Dana. This is the story behind the Snap. Why? When you do the transaction, we need about the, is my fund in our debit card is available or not, enough or not for the settlement. The second one, if I come to the Alphamart should be sure that the fund is available. The third one, if the Alphamart already settled and then it means you are already go and then the fund is not available, Alphamart will reject the transactions. The fourth one is very important. The transaction can be repeated. This means the fraud detection system must be stopping from the transaction. This is the logic of the Snap itself. We need the register, we need the balance account, we need the historical, we need the debit account, we need the credit account. All the combine of this transaction in the industry right now, we have 82 combine of sub-services of the Snap. This means when the first time you before the Snap, every bank, every fintech must come to each bank one each other without make sure that the bank will receive the agreement between the bank and the fintech. But now everything is already standardized. Pak Vincent or Agra already put in the website, this is our standard. So everybody can come to me. Even using the Snap, I can using the virtual account in the BRI, I can checking the balance in the BRI, and the Pak Vincent can be checking about the virtual account is already settled in the BRI or not. That's why we need the Snap. This means everything is standard here. Nah, because of that, the people must be sure, the people must be confident using the Snap itself. So the standard must be have the technical and security standard. And then second one, the data must be have already agree between the Vincent and the Agra. And then what we need about between among bank and fintech depend on their business need. This means they can using the sub services like checking balance, and then security, something like that, and then all of that must be secure. This means when, for example, I'm the fintech is a knowledge fintech, come to BRI. BRI will ask, who are you? Who you are? Why you want to come to me? Because the security is number one, right, Agra? Nah. So with the Snap, we can see in the BRI website, oh, if I want to interlink, interconnect, interoperability with BRI, I see what the requirement from the BRI. So BRI will give the risk, the checklist, something like that, for the transaction, for example, for the virtual account. So I will try the standard using the BRI. If I've already success in this standard, I'm going to develop site in Bank Indonesia. So I said to Pak Agra, I'm already done with this standard. You are receive or not? Okay, Pak Agra agree. So Pak Agra can be signed agreement between I and the Pak Agra as a fintech or with the bank. This is one agreement. The second one, Pak Agra want to make sure.
One more minute, Pak.
Sorry. I should make sure that the transaction is will secure end to end. So we will verify all the transaction between me and Pak Agra must be verified. And then if already verified, Pak Agra and me come to Bank Indonesia to propose the license in Bank Indonesia, and the Bank Indonesia will give the approval. That's the behind story of the SNAP itself. So the conclusion of this SNAP. What is SNAP? It's next, 1 minute more. Next. Right now, we have more than 3,000 combination of sub-services of the SNAP, and then 49% of the first mover already done. It means the SNAP is already done and already success. Pak Vincent maybe will share, and then Pak Agra will share what this already done. The SNAP is already in the market using it. I mean, when we are using the SNAP, trust the standards. Pak Agra trust to me, Pak Vincent trust to Pak Agra, and identify opportunity. The innovation, everything, the cost, everything, the efficiency, live here. And then everything based on the agreement between me, Pak Agra, and Pak Vincent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Dudi, for your very insightful and very condensed presentation on that. It's very insightful. You mentioned something about how standard can promote innovations, how standard can promote the interlinkage between not only between banks, but also bank with other non-bank players, such as the fintech players. And you also mentioned about the Indonesian payment system blueprint 2025, which I think we can delve more into that later during the Q&A sessions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, next I invite the second speaker from Bank Rakyat Indonesia, Mr. Argo Nugroho. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Yogi. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude for AFTEC and Bank Indonesia for having me today. And in the span of the next 10 minutes, I'd like to share a bit about how I believe SNAP is going to be promoting and encouraging more open banking initiatives in the future. Delighted to be here, and I'd like to begin with a notion, right? So it's a statement, whereas I think we can safely assume and at this point agree that banking services are going to be here to stay, but not so about the banks, right? I believe Bill Gates said something to that tune a few years ago, and I think it's still largely correct. And more we see the changes are to that regard is accelerating faster and faster. The banking model of the yesteryear is going to be dead really soon enough. Some are faster. Some banks are doing it faster than the others, depending on their segments, depending on their locations, and so on. But I think we can agree, that the future is open, right? And a lot of banks have been trying to do this for some time now, opening all their services, their basic services, breaking down their to their core services, and then opening up through the use of APIs. And through this mechanism, we allow our clients, so to say, the non-financial institutions like Dana and startups and other fintechs to allow us to extend our services beyond the realm of our branches, the realm of our own services, but go further and further to the people who really need them, right? And I think this trend is gonna keep going, and I think the global trend has been increasing. Let's say about the industries. Let's think about the industries. I think at this point, outside IT and business and IT technology-related industries, I think banking and finance is the most industry with most APIs deployed in the world, right? I think this data over here, the chart over here, agrees with the statement that I gave you earlier, right? And this is further promoted by the open adoption trend globally, whereas we see a lot of countries are adopting open standards, among the peers, among banking and financial service industry, and this has been largely seen all over the world, including Indonesia, which seen last year the deployment of SNAP standard, right? And I think this is going to be pushed forward by the industries along with the regulators, right? And on the left side, we also see that open banking is one of the main concern of banking institutions in the world. So I think we're going to see this global adoption trend catching steam on and on. And talking about the market potential, I think by 2021, the numbers hover around 16 something billion. Here you can see the numbers in charts, and research has concluded that the numbers will only rise tremendously towards the year 2030, whereas the numbers can be like 128 billion rupiah. So the potential are there, growing demand is there, and I think it's going to be largely driven by open banking payment platforms. And the key drivers, the three major forces that driving this adoption is three entities. One is the regulators. No. The first and foremost would going to be the customers. The customers going to drive, they're going to state their needs, their requirements. They're going to keep pushing the envelope and asking more and more of the service providers, right? And the second entity is going to be competition among the peers, among the industry members, among the institutions. And thirdly, it's going to be the regulators, the Bank Indonesia and probably OJK as well, regarding the open bank. And these forces are going to be has a core intersection in the middle, which is the open banking movement. All these three is going to be promoting more and more open banking services, and I think towards the like next year is going to see a tremendous growth, because we are seeing a lot of initiatives, namely probably IPT, integrasi pembayaran terpadu, and these things we're going to surely promote more and more towards the open banking. And this is understandably clear for us all, because we have seen a lot of benefits because brought about by clear open standards, right? Definitely, one of the benefits is going to be faster service turnaround time. We see, and I can testify to this. I mean, having open standards clearly help us push our products and services faster. Not a lot of discussion needed about how we go about and do things. And then second benefit would be clear and common understanding among peers, among industry practice practitioners, which actually, that's actually contributes to the first benefit that I mentioned. And then thirdly is going to be ensure interoperability. And this is, I think this is the most important factor, right? Interoperability allows us to talk to a lot of members, using the same language, right? Pak Dudi mentioned earlier about how people can go to each individual institution's websites and learn about the services, and then create their own, co-create the services industry, and a combination of service and those kind of things. And with the blessing of Bank Indonesia as a regulator, then we can move and go forward with the newer things that we created. And I think the key takeaway from this is that standards have been proven to work effectively and allow for better collaboration. And the case in point for this is I think we are familiar with the CRIS, right? Yogi earlier mentioned about CRIS, and Pak Dudi mentioned it as well, that this is a clear example of how open, clear standards really work. We've seen the number of merchants tremendously growing throughout the years, ever since 2020. I think the last numbers from Bank Indonesia we obtained is 21.9 million by the end of October last month. And I don't have the national numbers for transactions, but I can speak from a BRS perspective at this point that the transaction numbers, transaction value, and transaction numbers, frequency, it's rising steadily over time. And this is a clear example of how standards work and help us all, especially the society as a whole, right? Because everything just works, and everything works uniformly and consistently across services. I'd like to end my presentation with some key takeaways. One is that APIs, there's no denying APIs are the future. I think, and Snap will be a core enabler in this regard. And my second key takeaway is about how regulatory push is necessary to ensure an even playing field among all the peers. And then lastly, The third one is how collaboration is going to be key. That is why I applaud Bank Indonesia in involving the industry players in the discussion in the working groups. And I think we can benefit from this brainstorming and the discussion to ultimately deliver value to our customers. With that, I conclude and I pass the baton back to Yogi. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Mr. Argo Nugroho. I think you raised a lot of valid points from the perspective, not only from bankings, I think for the whole community of fintechs and banks as well. You mentioned something about the benefit of Snap of bringing, make it faster to time to market. You also mentioning about the establishing common understanding between all the players. You also mentioning one of the key elements that Bank Indonesia has been pushing so far in the past couple of years, which is the interoperability and interlinkage. And I think everybody is very keen to know more about what are the insights behind those, and I think we are going to delve that into during the Q&A sessions. Okay. And finally, I will invite the third speaker from Dana Indonesia, Mr. Vincent Iswara. I think, Pak Vincent, you will be the representative of the fintechs industry. I think you will be very, very distinguished speakers. And we are very much keen to understand your insight, and the floor is yours, Pak.
Thank you, Yogi. Hello? Okay. Thank you, Yogi. Thank you, Pak Dudi, Pak Arga, Bu Fili, and all friends and teammates and participants in this event. I'm very happy to be here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is an amazing time to live in because there is a lot of transformations happening all around the world. And I'm happy to be here because, you know, this just in this floor is showing you the collaborative spirit, right? With the regulators, with the banks, with the fintechs, two fintechs here. So this is an amazing representations of what the industry is about and should be it's about. And really, Snap is just one of the initiatives that bring us together, right? So we are, as industry players, are really leveraging this initiative, especially the blueprint from Bank of Indonesia for the roadmap to 2025. Okay, let's go to the next page. So I want to really kind of show you from the market perspective why this such an exciting time. Okay, just quickly show you some of the numbers, right? I mean, Indonesia have 276 million populations already, and we have 65 million SMEs. In case a lot of you don't know, this is actually one of the largest ratio of population to SMEs in the world. You know we have more SMEs than India by absolute numbers? Yes, India is only about 30-something million when we have 65. So that is how entrepreneurial Indonesian is. So that's pretty amazing, right? And we already covered 21 million of those Indonesian SMEs into accepting digital payments through Chris. That is so amazing, right? Within what? 2 years? Bu Fili. So, and this is the thing. So even though we have large populations, large SMEs, but if you take a look into overall numbers, large populations is what we call still unbanked and underbanked, right? Only about 35% is an active bank users, which is, I'm not saying that's a problem, I'm just saying that's a potential. And because there is just so many things that we need to do, that's why, you know, a lot of this roadmap is actually to reach out that potentials. For example, like there is over the total retail transactions, the majority of that transaction is still cash. Out of $608 billion of retail transactions, $546 billion of that transactions is in cash. I'm sorry if the RAM number is not the same as Ibu, but I think that's close enough. But the key point here is also if you take a look into the penetration of smartphone. In Indonesia, the penetration of smartphone is already at 72%. 199 million of the populations already have access to a smartphone. I know there's probably some people owning more than one smartphones, and this is taking into account that numbers as well, right? But still, it's a large size of populations have smartphones. And by 2026, it's supposed to grow into 87%. And these smartphone users, it's a potential. And if you take a look into in 2021, 159 people of these smartphone users is already trying digital payment. That is amazing. There is never in the history of any kind of a country where the adoption rate is as high as Indonesia. So that's the potential. If you see that is the potential, that is the adoptions, now the problem is where is the frequency? Because only 64 billion out of 608 billion of the retail transaction is in digital payment. And this is a number by Euromonitor. By 2026, it's supposed to be 115 out of 792. I think they really underestimate us. Very, very high. So Google and Temasek just released a report recently, and they say it's 421 billion. By 2025, I think that's more close. All right, so see, from 64 billion to 421 billion. And if you see the 546 billion to 792 billion, so more than half of all the retail transactions by 2025 is going to be digital. So Indonesia is undergoing the biggest transformation ever. It took cash 75 years to get where it is today. It took card payments 40 years to get where it is today, which the digital payment already beat in terms of transaction numbers. And it took digital payment only 6 years to get this far. In another 4 years now, from now on, guys, digital payment will be the #1 dominant instrument in Indonesia. But this will never happen if not because of the initiative that the Bank of Indonesia and the industry players are doing it right now. That is how important Snap is. Okay? Let's go to the next page. Okay, just quickly about Dana, because I've been presenting Dana, so I have to say a bit about Dana. But very quickly, I mean, we've been very fortunate in the last 2.5 years because through a lot of the initiative by the Bank of Indonesia, by the industry, by all the players, we've been able to grow. We have more than 120 million registered users as of last June. And then we're doing more than 10 million transactions per day, all digital. And back again last June. And of course, more than 20 million merchants already accepted this digital payment, including Dana. So everywhere you can use it. So now I've been using it all the time, and then it's amazing. I mean, I've been doing it for eating. I've been doing it for taxi. I've been doing it for ride-hailing, food delivery. I've been doing it to pay for parking on the side street. I've been doing it to pay for a security guard if we need to give them some tip. So everything now you can all use by digital payment. That's how amazing it is. So now we just need to educate more and more people that you can actually do it because a lot of people still don't know about it. And Dana has also been very consistent in making sure our product is getting improved all the time. So more than 80. So we're doing NPS scoring with 85 plus on average. That's amazing, guys. So an Indonesian product done by Indonesian team members now have NPS rating higher than Netflix, Spotify, and all of these international products in the world. So that's pretty amazing. And with Snap, now we've done 50 plus integrations with a lot of the financial institutions. Some of them still on the way, but we all ready. Dana has been 100% Snap compliant since June, right, Pak? And then we are ready to connect to even more. So hoping with Snap Standard, we're going to not be able to connect to all the 130 banks nationally, but all the BPD and everything. So more than thousands of banks in all over Indonesia. And all of those can be done because Dana have 900 employees, 64% of those are engineers and all based in Indonesia. Okay, let's go to the next. So Snap is amazing because before Snap, I think Pak Dudi and Pak Arga already mentioned, right? Before Snap, when you want to connect, to integrate to all the banks, you have to integrate one at a time. So I'll give you a real example. It took Dana 2 years to connect to 4 banks last time. 2 years, okay, at the very beginning. With Snap, you now can connect to any bank within months. Within, with testing, with everything, so one bank, let's just say 1 or 2 months, right? But if you want to connect to 200, well, it just depends on how big your team is. But then you can easily connect to anyone. And the most important thing is it's standardized. Its most important thing is it's not only talking about data security, not only talk about technical language or API standard, but of course, you need to, everything has to be safe and secure, and all the standard is being shared equally. So that's why us getting Dana to be Snap compliant 100% immediately is very important. And it's actually shown by the numbers itself. The moment that we have Snap 100%, Chris 100%, our numbers grow exponentially. And that's an opportunity not just for Dana, but everyone. Everyone in the industry, if you adopt the Snap, just don't think about it. Please adopt it. It's benefit for everyone. It's benefit for the market, and more potential is very, very high. So we are among the first movers along the 15 others, including PJPs and including banks. And potentially, because of Snap, now we can also enjoy the cross-border potentials that we have. So we're now already connected to Thailand with PromptPay, and pretty soon a few other markets are back. So I think, and that is so amazing. Imagine now you can go not only just pay in Indonesia, you can go anywhere and you can immediately pay using Dana, using GoPay, using everyone. And that's happening right now. You can actually do it right now. You go to Thailand, you go to any counter, just as long as you see, which is all accepting PromptPay. Can I pay using QR? You can. And the currency rate is there, and everything is there. Very transparent and instant. No need to worry. So I think that's amazing. Okay, let's go next. And I think this is the last page. So really, Snap is proven to be an example of how the current policy direction is a very pro-growth for the market and digital players, and adaptive to the current trend to win the digital economy potential. So our aim has always been to make sure that Indonesia can be cashless society, and inclusion can happen more quickly. So then with Snap, we can integrate with anyone faster. So we spend less time on integration, more time on innovation. I think that's the key here. And also, the most important, if you adopt Snap, you're actually following the guidelines of the regulations. And then so you can be more compliant. You can be better. So rather than spending so much time on making sure everything that you do with the new integration comply, now with Snap, it complies immediately. So it helps all of you guys. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Vincent, for your presentation. Give a warm applause to our speakers. So I see a very optimistic pictures from the regulator side, from the banking side, also from the fintech side, and all of them, all of you seems to be already realizing what is the benefit of the implementing the Snap. What are the not only the impact to the business itself, but also for the society of Indonesian people. So let's go into the Q&A sessions. First question will be to Pak Dudi. Pak Dudi, from the regulator side, can you elaborate more on the advantage and opportunity to Snap to foster the innovations while also managing the level of healthy competitions within the industry? I think between the two is something that you need to be very careful and threading those lines, and how Bank Indonesia perceive that, Pak.
For the healthy competition, maybe sorry. We have maybe in the next, depend on really the pricing policy. We have the pricing policy which regulate about how much, for example, like Dana receive the cost, and then the payment infrastructure payment we receive or take the cost.
Ya. Di depan, Pak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the next policy is about the pricing policy, and what kind of pricing policies depend on we still formulate about this policy, and I hope in the starting in the next our board of our governors meeting, we announce to the market. But depend on Bu Fili. Maybe Bu Fili will answer this.
Okay, Pak. Thank you, Pak Dudi. So I also wanted to know more from Pak Argo, Pak, from the banking perspective. You mentioned about the size of the opportunity of the global open banking initiatives, Pak. How does actually Snap fits into that picture specifically for the Indonesian? What will be Snap's bring into the table to realize those open banking opportunity, Pak?
Okay, thank you, Yogi. So, I think the way I would respond to the question is this way. So, APIs are not new thing for us banks, right?
Correct.
I mean, all the major players are out there doing magical stuff with APIs, right? And the numbers shown that APIs and transaction volumes, as our numbers, for example, we've seen from this year we've seen transactions volume, transaction numbers up to $17 billion already this year, and north of 250 million transactions till October. So the numbers clearly shows that the activities that are that are brought by the use of APIs is tremendous, right? And imagine that how much this number will be increased when we allow Snap, which is like a clear guideline on how we interoperate, right? And if this, I think Snap will definitely multiply the numbers easily. Why? Because again, this is a level playing field for everyone. And again, like Vincent just explained, right? This dissolves all the needed discussions and other things that are needed that usually required. Vincent described how it used to took you like for 4 years.
2 years.
for
2 years.
banks.
2 years. Yeah.
That's amazingly slow. I mean, in terms of today's digitalization, and we talk about agile and stuff, and that's like dinosaur age probably, right? So imagine that the number of how familiar we're talking about APIs nowadays, and then combined by the power of Snap and leveraging clear communications between the peers, is going to be I think the numbers are going to show for themselves. Mark my words, Yogi.
I see, Pa. Thank you so much, Pa. So you are very convinced that we are going to reap the benefits of the Snap in terms of the multiplication of transactions into the growth itself, Pa. Okay, thank you, Pa Argo.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Next one to Pa Vincent, Pa. Could you explain more on the insights especially from the fintech players, Pa, specifically from Dana, on the implementation of Snap in terms of the innovation itself and the growth opportunity and the impact to the Indonesian? You mentioned something along the line of the impact to the company itself, the industry, and also you mentioned something to the society impact. Can you elaborate more on that, Vincent?
Sure. I think, okay, so here's the thing, right? We live in this, what we call the API world, where every company is, whether they're financial institution, non-financial institution, whether they're merchants, whether they're consumer applications, everything is surrounded by APIs, right? And then the fact that, you were having a questions like, if you show also like the world, every countries now is growing for open API banking, right? And it's just a natural progressions that because a lot of the users, a lot of the merchants, and it's already an API, so all the financial institution has to be API too. And what is an API, right? API is basically a method for you to communicate in real time. It's actually as simple as that, and it's not a magic word suddenly that come out. It's just a definition, but it's in reality what it means is just a communication from each party so that you can do it in real time. Last time, it's not really real time because last time if, for example, right, the consumer is real time, the merchant is real time, the banking still need to write it down in their journal book every time manually. So then something is still not real time. So then you have what you call it a bottleneck, and then you need to that bottleneck is the cause of all this growth, potential growth is not obvious. So one, with Snap or with this open API banking, everything become real time. When everything become real time, all the movement, the economic movement, the transactions, the cash flow, the potential of your revenue, potential of your income, potential of your investment, just suddenly going to grow exponentially. So there is a very, you can look at it in Google, there is a very good research about anywhere in the world, if a country becoming more and more digital, the economic growth of that country can grow to 2 to 3 times faster. So that is just a simple like progression, natural progression. But I also want to say that's the good thing, the potential. Now I want to say that's also be careful with the world of API, because I just came back from US. This is also the largest fintech event in the world, Money 2020. And I was in Singapore for a Singapore Fintech Festival, which is the largest fintech festival in Southeast Asia. So both of two. And what I find, this is be careful, guys. If you live in the world of APIs, don't stop innovating. Don't just, oh, I don't need to do anything. All I need is just integrate all the API, and my company has become the next tech companies. Well, an aggregation of an API is not an innovation. It's just basically, well, you're just, well, let's just say you're just basically too lazy to develop something than just aggregating into a new business model. And that is not stopping you. So winning, if even you have Snap, if you have Chris, everyone now still need to innovate. You can improve your speed of transaction, you can improve your security, you can improve your customer experience, and that is very important because now you don't need to spend time on integrations. Once again, right? And the Snap, the greatest thing about Snap is because everyone's speaking in the same language now all you need to do is spend less on integration, more on innovation, as I keep saying it. So the potential is really, really going to be so much more innovation coming up because of this Snap in the next 2 or 3 years. And then capturing that growth from 60 to 421 billion in the next 4 years is going to be more than possible.
Got it. Thank you so much, Pak Vincent, for your explanations. Going back to Pak Dudi from the regulatory perspective, Pak. I think this morning we heard during the opening sessions about how the regulatory also respond to the innovation. I think from the case of Bank Indonesia, especially the payment system, it's a very, very rare situation where the regulation, I think, anticipate the innovations by issuing the BSPI, the payment system, Indonesian payment system standard. We can always argue about the impact of the pandemic and whatnot, but had we not had the payment system blueprint by 2021, I think the situation will be much, much different. So from that perspective, I want to know, it's a good segue from what Pak Vincent has just mentioned earlier about the challenge. What are the main challenge faced by Bank Indonesia as the regulators of the payment systems in relations to the implementation of Snap, and how Snap can actually bring about much more innovations, which we might not think at this very moment of time?
From the Bank Indonesia side, maybe in the process, we have develop side, and then so we have the it's been checking about end-to-end about the security, like Vincent mentioned, and then so everything is already standardized, and then we have received some advice, or it's been some advice from the SRO, it's been ASPI. So the Bank Indonesia will give the license to the industry to implement the Snap. This is the first step of how the Snap will run. And the second one, we give opportunity for the everybody. Is when the bank and the fintech can be interconnected, one for all.
Got it.
I have already discussed with my colleagues from the United States and from the Brazil. They said this is very luxury in Indonesia because the regulator already facilitated
Got it.
to
Yes.
implement the SNAP. We thought we didn't need to discuss with one each other. Like Vincent said, need 2 years for bank. Ya, Pak, ya. Now it's only 2 months. It's when everything can be possible. So the homework from the industry, how to develop everything in the platform, how to develop everything in the front end. In the back end, like fraud detection system, and the anti-money laundering, customer protection, something like that, we have already built in our infrastructure. So everything will be controlled because we have the granularity data. We have right now 26 users of the CRIS, and then we have 22.2 million of the merchants. So we can now, but with the good merchants, with the good people, with the unbankable people. So if don't be panic if you buy something in the Shopee, so you get the plafond of the pay later is going high because it's already scoring by the Shopee. This is the real time. So everybody, even you didn't have the bank accounts, but every activity in the e-commerce, you will monitor by the artificial intelligence, and then we see everybody have the scoring, everybody have the capability, everybody have the power of purchasing. So you can, as long as you have the good behavior, you have the good liquidity, so you will receive capital from the banks, from DBR, or pay later from Vincent, or anything you need to develop your everything you want for to increase your
Transactions.
usaha itu apa sih?
Transaction. Business.
Yeah, your business.
Yep.
That's the point of the SNAP. The granularity data by Bank Indonesia we develop, and then everybody can access to Bank Indonesia to know about I'm the good merchant, am I the good people have the good liquidity, and then the data is very secure. The data is very secure. Don't panic if you get something like you receive SMS or WA from anonymous people to offering the credit. But this is next, maybe offering the real credit to increase your business. That's the point of the SNAP in the to increase your capability in the business. Thank you.
Got it, Pak. Got it. So you were saying that Bank Indonesia, as the regulator, is providing all the necessary hard infrastructure as well as the soft infrastructure. By the policy that you mean that, as we referred earlier, that we have so many standards, including the governance standards, which also governs a lot of aspects that you think Bank Indonesia thinks might be in anticipation of what the innovation will be in the future. Pak, ya? Okay, thank you so much on your response, Pak. To Pak Argo, Pak. So, from the banking perspective where you are, Pak, what needs to be done and what are the critical points for the to meet the next goal of expanding the SNAP implementation, Pak, from the banking perspective, Pak Argo?
From the banking perspective, thank you for the question, Yogi. So from the banking perspective, I think we need to get more institutions, more players involved in this. I mean, we have the first movers, definitely. We have the second movers coming in December this year, if I'm not mistaken. So this will, this will build momentum, so to say. And I think with more players, there's going to be an even wider playing field. And the beneficiary of all this is gonna be ultimately is gonna be the users, because they're gonna be able to choose from a lot of options, a lot of combinations. I think the way to put it is this way, Yogi. So banking services is gonna be taking a step back, right? And we're gonna let the banks are gonna let the fintechs, the startup players who are more who has more expertise, so to say, in leveraging niche businesses, in leveraging UI UX properly, and we're gonna let them shine and allow them to recombine, so to say, our services with mix and match, doing mix and match and those kind of stuff, and allow the users to benefit ultimately as the ultimate beneficiary.
Thank you, Pa Argo. Pa Vincent, I think coming from fintech world, Pa, I think what Pa Argo just mentioned is providing an opportunity for us, Pa, as the industry. Thank you for that, Pa Argo. So, Pa Vincent, might be the same questions, but coming from the fintech perspective, Pa, what would be the critical point for the SNAP implementation in Indonesia can be larger, can be faster, and also create the promised impact that we have seen and what we've heard so far, Pa?
And that's the thing, right? I completely agree with Pa Arga here, because this is a collaborative era. We know it, not only in Indonesia, in everywhere in the world, and I see it more and more happening. In fact, that's why sometimes it's too collaborative, it's becoming less innovative. In some area, let's not let that happen in Indonesia, but most important is collaboration and innovation, right? But that's what we need to do now is to make sure SNAP is working properly. So we have now the first and coming up the second batches. Let's make sure this first batches we can work better, we can actually improve, because this is, even though this is standard, right? This is a new kind of new language for all of us, and in the new language we need to get fasih dulu, we need to get comfortable, we need to get very fluent to each other, we need to talk even faster, we need to talk even easier, we need to be more like secure. So if for all of you technical people here, we need the response time to be quicker. We need to have the error code to be less. We need to have the SLA to be more than 99.999%. So all of this we need to improve. And once we can show that because of this, then remember, one improvement to one bank equals to everyone, right? Just one improvement equals to every participant. So if we can make sure the earlier starter can get better and better and it will impact everyone else, then we can see the potential. We already seen the potential. So let's just make sure we can do it right. Prove that this is the best standard. Prove to everyone this works, and growing it will be just a natural progression.
Got it. Thank you so much, Pa Vincent. I think that's the best way to wrap it up, Pa. Please, ladies and gentlemen, bring a very warm applause to our speakers. Once again, we thank you for Mr. Dudi Dirmawan, Mr. Argo Nugroho, and Mr. Vincent Iswara. With that, I'm Yogi Arsudiono. I'm closing the discussion session. Stay healthy and safe. Goodbye, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants for attending today's breakout session. Thank you so much. Mbak Desi, herewith I return the floor to you.
Thank you, Yogi. Pause sejenak ya. Okay, once again, may we have your big round of applause for the speakers and also moderators. Very fruitful discussion and asik banget ya. Okay, but before we end this session, let's have a memories. Please rise and we have a group photo together. Fotografer boleh diambil gambarnya. Yes. Hi Genbi, it was good, great session. Ngerti kan? Ngerti sih, masa enggak? Okay, moderator. Oh yeah, we still have Ibu Fili here. Ibu Fili, would you please to join us for a group photo? Our special audience. Very special. Okay. Yes. Smile, big smile please. Yes. Ganti gaya. Ganti gaya. Oke. Asik. Ganti gaya? Yes, Chris ya, Chris, oke. Cukup? Yes? Oh oke, sorry. Ya, oke, terima kasih. Thank you so much. Thank you. Diculik sesat buat foto. Oke, thank you so much. Pak Yogi, terima kasih. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we just finished the very fruitful discussion, interesting topics, yes. We have discussed together here and we also listened from the speakers, yes. And this is the end of our session for the breakout session today, hosted by Bank Indonesia. And we really hope that this session give you very useful information and also benefit for all of us here. So once again, thank you so much for attending and joining this session. We apologize for the inconvenience. I'm Putu Desi and thank you. Enjoy the rest of this day. Terima kasih.